To say the least, quite the week for the Wisconsin Badgers. Back-to-back wins against AP top 10 opponents. An overtime thriller on Tuesday night in Champaign and a dominant performance against Michigan State on Friday night. We'll recap both of those games as the Badgers certainly making a significant statement in college basketball these last few days. We'll check in with Nick Boyd, who had 29 against the Spartans on Friday night, and we'll chat with head coach Greg Gard about A Road at Night, the documentary about Howard Moore and the tragic accident that occurred nearly 7 years ago. The documentary is showing here in Madison. We'll talk about it on today's program. Coming up on the Badger Sports Report. Winter the rebound for Wisconsin. Badgers doing well on the defensive glass. 3.5 minutes in, 8-5 the Badgers. Here's Boyd. He's open. Scott fell down. Boyd drills a triple on the left wing. Now starts to go right of the lane. Turns it back out. Winter with 5 to shoot. Nolan driving, floating, and good! Going glass and a foul. And one for Nolan Winter. Lead back to 11. Fears looking, and the inbound pass stolen by Winter. Here's Braden Carrington to the front court. Drops it back to Boyd. Deep three, left side money. When you're hot, you're hot. And Nick Boyd is on fire.
Watch the hook and hold. I'm telling you, it's coming.
Here's Boyd right of the lane, driving, pushed it up, and in, and one. Nick Boyd not afraid to get physical. Nick Boyd, 25 points tonight, 9 of 14 from the field, 4 of 5 for 3. Inbounds pass, Blackwell, 3 shot right pocket, got it. Blackwell a triple. 64-45 Wisconsin. And off the rim, no. Rebound tapped out, Rapp has it. Rapp left of the circle, feeds Nick, tries a 3, right side, money. Nick Boyd, another triple, and another offensive board for the Badgers. Here's Blackwell, wide open 3 in the air, book it. Sean Blackwell gets the Badgers to 90. They flat out drop the hammer on Michigan State. The 10th ranked Spartans go down, and we've got a court storm at the Kohl Center in Madison.
When the offense is falling like that, we're playing like that, and we're sharing the ball, like the one more, I don't know who hit it, Aussie, where we just shared the ball. That's Wisconsin basketball. That's who we are. We share like that. And I told the guys, like, don't settle for 3. Let's try to get to the bonus, and we got to the double bonus. So that was good. So we just, harped on that. Like, don't settle for the 3. Let's keep driving, getting attacks, inside-out 3s.
They've grown. And like I said, I'm extremely proud of them because they've bonded together. It's a really good locker room, and they enjoy each other's success. I think that's a neat. You're watching them all celebrate with no matter who's on the floor. They enjoy watching their teammates have success.
It's cool to be able to share that moment with all the fans and allow them to have some fun along with us. It's a special moment. Obviously, you remember all the court storms in your career, so. I think that was pretty. That's up there. That was a good one.
That was a 9.5.
9.5.
Set the standard. Set the standard. Let's go.
Nice bounce, Rapp. Rapp left lane line out to Blackwell. Stamps off a 3. Right pocket. Book it.
Scores! Badgers win it in overtime.
Wisconsin Badgers have won the Frozen Four championship.
The Badgers advance to the Sweet 16. Off the backboard for 2 from Destiny Howell.
The Badger Sports Report is presented by UW Health and is brought to you by Hy-Vee and by Construction Business Group, by Gruber Law Offices, and by WEA Member Benefits.
Have you heard people say women's sports are having a moment?
It's not a moment.
Moments are fleeting. They come and they go.
This isn't just a moment.
But success is nothing new at Wisconsin.
History in Wisconsin.
There's a history here.
8 championships.
So let's celebrate women's sports for what it really is.
It's not a moment.
It's not a moment.
It's a movement.
And you're invited to come along for the ride.
UW Health, proud title sponsor of Badger Women's Sports.
Clear your path to a great career today. Climb to reach your career potential with no loans and no debt, so you can earn while you learn. A Wisconsin Operating Engineer's Apprenticeship is your opportunity to work outdoors and get heavy equipment experience. Partner with your employer for serious pay, great health and pension benefits. Acquire real-world experience while building Wisconsin together. To start your career journey, visit join139.com today.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. Unwelcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
Boyd 2-on-1 as Rapp to his right. Boyd down the lane, puts it up and in off the glass. Boyd went to the floor. They wanted the and one, didn't get it. Feed for Rapp at the top of the circle. Right hand toss. Boyd curls around a Rapp screen. Boyd drives on Thomas Lafidisic in the lane to the rim, scoops it up and in. Boyd pulls Wisconsin within 3. Driving left of the lane, leaves it inside. It's batted around. Turnover as Nolan Winter got the deflection, and here's Blackwell to the front court. Blackwell left of the lane. John in the paint. Out the Rapp for 3 in the tie. Got it! Austin Rapp a triple. We're tied at 76. Flips to Blackwell. John to the line, down the lane. Stops out the Rapp for 3 in the lead. Left of the circle. He hit it! Austin Rapp a cold-blooded triple. Badgers up 1. 56 seconds to play. Blackwell at the center circle. Inching up around a Winter screen. Blackwell with 5 to shoot. A 3 in the air. Blackwell. Good for John Blackwell. And it's 87-81. Wisconsin with 3:20 left in overtime. Badger coach is directing traffic. Here's Boyd left of the lane. Drives on Hummerikaus. Throws it up. Tough shot. Got it off the window. 89-81 Wisconsin.
It's huge. I mean, it instills so much confidence in your game. I've always, I've said multiple times, I've got a lot of confidence in myself, and the coaches, I've always known they've had confidence in me. So the message was 1 for 4, I think, to start the game from 3. Keep shooting. Nick Boyd, JB, Nolan, everyone just get on my back, keep letting it fly, because they know what I can do and they know what I'm capable of.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. At WEA Member Benefits, we believe in helping Wisconsin public school employees and their families achieve their financial goals by providing personal insurance, retirement and investment, and financial planning programs that are designed specifically for the education community. Proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, WEAbenefits.com.
Your animals depend on you every day. So we build equipment you can depend on every day. Equipment that powers through mud, dust, and extreme weather. So cutting hay, feeding livestock, and managing land is easier. Loaded with intuitive, innovative features and tech, Case IH equipment isn't just built to work. It's built to work for livestock producers. Case IH, built by farmers.
In the midst of a stretch drive of an exciting Big Ten season, one knuckle buster after another out there, it seems, for the Badgers, there are things certainly much more important than basketball, and Coach Greg Gard knows that as well as anyone. As we speak here, Greg, a lot of fans in the area, a lot of concerned fans in the area. I've had a chance to see A Road at Night, a documentary produced by John Roach and his team. It will be shown at Marcus Theater here in Madison on Big Sky Drive through at least next Thursday, and panel discussions, current, former coaches, teammates of Howard Moore's. You've seen it more than once. This is about as important an hour, 15 minutes as anyone could have to support Howard Moore and his family.
Yeah, I think obviously, we're coming up on 7 years since his tragic car accident. And I think the people in the inner circle around Howard and our team here have felt it's really important not to lose that story and lose that cause and that need that still exists in the everyday news cycle that everything else goes through. It's forgot within 24 hours, and the group around John Roach and the team of supporters have done a really good job of keeping that remindful to everybody, I guess, just of what a tragedy that was, and it continues to be very heavy bearing on the family and in Howard. So, John Roach did a phenomenal job putting that documentary together, and I think it's a great chance for all those that haven't seen it. As you mentioned, a lot have seen it, but for it to be public here in Madison for a good week is exceptional.
It's both heartbreaking and heartwarming knowing that Howard has so many close friends who are like family. If it's Richard Griffith, who's like a brother, literally,
right.
And so many other teammates. Stan Van Gundy coming back to town. He's done a number of interviews. It's that line, under the worst of circumstances, you do see the best of human
Absolutely,
pieces.
Yeah, and I think we saw that right from the very day of that accident, just how people have come to the forefront and continue to come to the forefront. And obviously, at the center of that are Howard's parents, Trennis and Howard Sr., and obviously Jarrell having to go through what he's gone through. Just trying to support them. We can't go back and erase the past as much as we would love to and be able to erase that horrific incident and accident, but the support that they've had around them has been terrific. You mentioned Richard and other teammates, Tracy Webster, Mike Finley, Chris Conger, Andy Kilbride. We can go on and on and on that were there right from the get-go to really help. And I think it's a testament to the power of this university and the power of this basketball program, that it's bigger than basketball. And once you're a Badger and part of this program, you are forever. And I reiterate that with our current team all the time, and they will get a chance to see it as well. And I think it's important for us to, it gives you perspective in the cloud of overtime games and buzzer beaters and all the excitement we've had. It's always good to have a little dose of reality.
Boy, it is. I mean, as we talk, it's you coming back. It's a late return after an overtime game in Champaign, and people are probably dragging and go, "Wow, this is," and then you stop. And you think about Trennis and Howard Sr.,
right.
and Jarrell and Richard. Yeah, I'm okay. I can handle a couple hours sleep here.
Exactly. Yeah, that's. In fact, I got a text from Trennis after the Illinois game late that night as we were traveling back. So, it's just like I said. Once you're part of this program, you always are. And when there's situations like this, we just try to continue to help everybody involved.
You made a statement after Jarrell spoke when Howard came back for the first time a couple of years ago in a game against Illinois, and how eloquent Jarrell was, how poised he was in front of 17,000 people. And you mentioned, well, think about what he's gone through. Yeah, this is it's such a great point you made, because it'd be easy to be nervous in front of 17,000. He's gone through a lot more difficult things than speaking in front of 17,000.
Absolutely, and yeah, obviously what he experienced as a 13-year-old when it happened, you wouldn't wish upon any human, let alone a young person that's 13, to what he had to witness and what he's gone through. But how he's been able to turn such a negative incident and time in his life to such a positive, and use it to help other people. And that, they always say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He's doing exactly what his dad has done for so many people, and I think turning a negative into a positive and always trying to find a way to help others. And Jarrell has turned into a phenomenal young man, and he's not maybe that young anymore. He's in college, but to watch him grow and mature through the worst of times has been really inspiring.
And you mentioned that 13-year-old at the time is now a sophomore at Edgewood University. He's involved with the basketball program there, so it's I just have this feeling that coaching might be in his future as well.
Whatever he decides to do, he'll be successful at it, because he obviously, like I said, you never want to wish those type of experiences on anyone, but he's handled it and grown. And I know there's no way it can be easy, but he's had tremendous support around him too, with his grandparents, as we mentioned, Trennis and Howard Sr. and Richard and others, to really try to help lift him through this.
As we mentioned, that they had the panel discussions here the few days over the weekend, but the showings will continue through at least Thursday, and hopefully more. The more people come out, maybe the longer run it can have here in Madison. It's at the Marcus Point Theater on Big Sky Drive in Madison. You just get on the website, you can get all the show times for A Road at Night, a documentary on Howard Moore and his family. We'll take a break. More to come as we continue with the Badger Sports Report. Have you heard people say women's sports are having a moment?
It's not a moment.
Moments are fleeting. They come and they go.
This isn't just a moment.
But success is nothing new at Wisconsin.
History in Wisconsin.
There's a history here.
8 championships.
So let's celebrate women's sports for what it really is.
It's not a moment. It's not a moment.
It's a movement.
And you're invited to come along for the ride.
UW Health, proud title sponsor of Badger Women's Sports.
Clear your path to a great career today. Climb to reach your career potential with no loans and no debt, so you can earn while you learn. A Wisconsin Operating Engineer's Apprenticeship is your opportunity to work outdoors and get heavy equipment experience. Partner with your employer for serious pay, great health and pension benefits. Acquire real-world experience while building Wisconsin together. To start your career journey, visit join139.com today.
Well, I think when it comes to basketball, everybody wants to say he wants to take the big shot, but there are only a select few who are actually truly willing to do it and make the plays when they need to be made, including this guy right here, Nick Boyd. You made a few already. You've made them on really big stages in your basketball career. How much of that has added to your confidence that when it's in the balance, you want to be that guy now?
Man, yeah, definitely those experiences have, but I mean, I just always think about, like, if you say you want to be the best, you want to, play at a high level, you got to believe in yourself. And, as much as self-doubt creeps in those moments, like, when you're about to take that last second, you still think, just like everybody else, like, dang, what if this don't go right? But if you say you want to be the best and play at a high level, man, you got to overcome that and, and trust in the result and trust in your work. So, whatever the end result is of the situation, I got to live with it and just trust in my work.
You hear it in football a lot with a cornerback. You have to have a short memory. I imagine it's similar here, right? Because it's not always going to be great. The best players ever don't always make the play. So I guess that comes in handy, having that short memory.
Yeah, I mean, basketball in general, it's so fast-paced. You can have a turnover here and then come down the next play and hit the biggest shot of the game that changed the momentum. So, I kind of learned that at a young age, man. You got to, next play. My coaches would always tell me in AAU basketball. So since then, and I struggled with it as a kid. I was really emotional. I mean, as you can tell, I'm an emotional player. And I would kind of, instead of using my emotions to now hype up the crowd or, hype myself up, I would kind of, put myself down. So just learning through that. And, as you get older, use it for different reasons now.
I heard your comments on the journey on Big Ten Network when they were profiling Brad Davis, and it is similar because Brad was that guy too. He would get people wound
That's what AJ
up. So
told
you
me.
clicked, huh?
Yeah. That's what AJ told me, man. When I found out Brad was coming to coach, I was excited because he's just a young guy. You relate, with guys who've been in your shoes not too long ago, and no disrespect to the coaches. They've been former players themselves, but a little outdated a little bit, and Brad's younger, so just having him to connect with and hear his voice was definitely refreshing in a sense.
You look like you're just having a ball out there. You're just having fun. You're playing the game, and there could be chatter, whatever. You get the crowd going, but that's you,
yeah,
right?
That's me.
You've always been that way?
Always been like that. Ever since at the park. When I was younger, LA Fitness, 24-hour fitness in those gyms, recess. I always been the guy who just had the loudest voice on the court, no matter where I was at. And I was real short back then and wasn't as good as I am now. And that was my way to kind of, let people know I'm here.
Take us through. I was asking Nolan Winter about this. Games are like no lead is safe and no deficit. You can always come back. So when the Minnesota game came along here recently, what are you telling yourself, and what are you guys talking about to try to get back into it?
Yeah, I mean, look at these past two games, USC and Minnesota, tale of two stories. Up 14 and then down 18 and a half. So Man, it goes back to like what you said. You know, the people. A lot of people say they want to take those big shots, and people do it, and some people don't. And that's what I was telling myself at halftime. I mean, I didn't have my best, probably my worst half of basketball I played in my career, but just like, man, you got to go for it. You got to go for it. Be aggressive. And I know Minnesota was a great team. Tip my cap off to them. Physical in the paint, trying to take me away from my game. And I'm just like, you know what? I just got to trust my jumper. I've been shooting it all my life, and you know, just trust your work and go for it. So I just started shooting more threes.
I was talking with a couple other people too about you have a lot of new faces here, so it makes sense that it would take some time just to understand. Okay, this is what JB likes to do. This is where Nolan wants it. You feel like you guys as a team now are getting a really good grip of what everybody can do out there in a given moment.
Yeah, and I think it comes with, like you said, new guys, new faces, but it's a certain level of respect and a certain level of knowing that that guy has your back. You know, and as you develop that throughout the year, throughout the course of a season, I mean, you just look on defense. There's some plays on defense where Nolan takes my guys and I take his, and he goes to another guy, and Rhodey's flying here, and Janicki takes the charge. And when that charge play, if you look at it closely, me and Nolan switched, and then I switched back to my man, and then someone else took the next man, and Janicki took a big charge. So just like plays like that, in the beginning of the year, you probably wouldn't really find that. And like I said, it just takes a certain level of respect and trust, knowing that, you know, the guy right and left of you has your back.
There is the obvious of a big shot to get the crowd going, but you mentioned Janicki taking the charge, or someone gets a steal. You can probably feel that, right? Particularly in the home building of what that can do to a team.
Yeah, I mean, those moments are priceless, and you know, I keep going back to this these last, I don't know, we have 2.5 months of basketball in general, college basketball in general, and this will be my last 2.5 months of having the opportunity to compete on the highest level, and maybe never get those moments again. So I try to take those for granted, and that's the reason why I'm just, you know, interacting with the crowd and taking advantage of every single moment I have you know, and just having fun.
We talked back before the season started about, you know, being in the Big Ten, something you were looking forward to doing. Now, again, you've played on the the biggest stages in college basketball, but as we speak, there's still a lot of basketball ahead. But has this league, has it been what you thought it would be?
Yeah, I mean, man, every single night, good competition, which I love, and I feel like it brings the best out of me. You know, every time I, you know, lace them up or, you know, leave that hotel room on the road, I know you got to bring your best stuff today. So it's been awesome, and I know, like, you know, like slouch games or games you think you could just go through the motions. So I feel like that's just been a great challenge, and not to mention just the historic venues you get to go to in the arenas and stuff like that. It's been awesome.
Taking care of yourself now. We're at that time of year. You play a lot of minutes. Again, you being around for a little bit of college basketball, you probably understand it a lot better than a freshman. Take us through that, how you keep yourself as fresh as possible as you get ready for the stretch drive now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everyone's different. I know a lot of guys who, you know, once practice is over, they're off their feet for good, or guys who, you know, staying in that routine keeps them fresh, you know, and I'm kind of on that end where I love to just keep that same routine. I've, you know, toned it down in terms of just the volume and the intensity, but just still getting up early in the morning, making sure whether it's, you know, a couple shots, it doesn't have to be nothing crazy, free throws, whatever it is, but just keeping that routine where my mind is staying sharp. Because like I said, in this league, you got to be sharp every single night. I mean, you see Minnesota, great team, man, challenged us to the end, and they've been in games where, you know, they lost last couple seconds. So it doesn't matter if you're at the top of the league right now or the bottom. You have a chance every single night. And for me personally, I just try to stay in that same routine I always have, but just tone it down a little bit and get my sleep. Go to bed a little bit earlier if I can, and then at the same time just stay sharp.
That was fun here, aren't you? So far, so best is yet to come, though, right?
No doubt. Yeah, we got best months of college basketball in March coming up. February kind of tells you, you know, what's really going to happen, and then March, anything can happen. So it's beautiful.
All right, fun team to watch, fun player to watch. He's Nick Boyd. We'll have more right after this.
It's the simplest expression, the smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up, apologizes, unwelcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
The Badger Sports Report is presented by UW Health and is brought to you by Hy-Vee and by Construction Business Group, by Gruber Law Offices, and by WEA Member Benefits.
It's back on the road Tuesday night for the Wisconsin Badgers as they take on Ohio State, 7:30 tip on Tuesday from Columbus. And then it's back here at the Kohl Center on Sunday afternoon to play Iowa. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. At WEA Member Benefits, we believe in helping Wisconsin public school employees and their families achieve their financial goals by providing personal insurance, retirement and investment, and financial planning programs that are designed specifically for the education community. Proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, WEAbenefits.com.
Every farmer wants to up their uptime, so we purposefully designed our tractors and implements to keep you in the field. Tailored for your operation, Case IH tractors are intuitive to use, easy to maintain, packed with the latest tech, and backed by dealer support you can trust. Because Case IH equipment isn't just built to work, it's built to work for you. Case IH, built by farmers.
Have you heard people say women's sports are having a moment?
It's not a moment.
Moments are fleeting. They come and they go.
This isn't just a moment.
But success is nothing new at Wisconsin.
History in Wisconsin.
There's a history here.
8 championships.
So let's celebrate women's sports for what it really is.
It's not a moment. It's not a moment.
It's a movement.
And you're invited to come along for the ride.
UW Health, proud title sponsor of Badger Women's Sports.